Onda Magazine presenta.
Que Onda Houston, welcome to another exclusive interview, and this time with the Houston Police Department Chief J. Noe Diaz, a
Hello.
Latino. And so we're so excited to talk to you today.
As I am excited to talk to you.
How are
Thank
you doing today, sir?
It's been a great day. It's been a busy morning for us, but other than that, it's been just another day in Houston. We have a lot of things going on throughout the city,
Yes,
and it's always a city on the move.
that's right. And it's a busy year for Houston too, with
Right,
the FIFA coming up, and we'll get to talking about all of those things.
right.
I know you're a busy man, so we'll get right to the point.
Go for it.
Yes, sir. So, what is the department doing to work with the Spanish-speaking communities and the immigrant communities to make sure that to build trust, to encourage people to report offenses, and reduce violent crime?
Well, for us, it's something that we work on every day, right? It's not something that we use with our words. We mean it with our hearts as well as the hands that we help in the community. So
Yeah.
it's always something that's important to us. I think you've already visited with some of my chiefs that are really involved. For me, it's important that we as an organization are community facing and not up here in the office making decisions. So I routinely go out into the community almost every event. It's almost a 7-day-a-week job for me because the community is so diverse, and it's not just Spanish speaking communities, it's Vietnamese speaking communities. We have people that speak different languages from the Middle East and or Asian languages. So for us, it's important to always try to learn
Yeah.
and try to grow so that the interaction is always positive and that they know that they can count on us because we need the community. One, to help us, like you said, reduce violent crimes. Two, to help us recruit, right? Because this office has to be reflective of the community because that's where we get our team from, right? We are, since we're talking to Que Onda Magazine, we're about 34% Hispanic as an organization, which is a huge number. A lot of the command staff is Hispanic as well. And we are focused on just getting good people, decent people that can come into the office and be as good to the community because at the end of the day, this business is about people, nothing else. There is no secret formula or you can't read it in a book. But if you can come and be a person that can calm things down, that can change dynamics at a scene, that's what I'm looking for when we look for people to come and do these tough jobs.
Amazing. And I know you talked about the Hispanic officers.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about the percentage and any recruitment strategies specifically target at that representation of the Hispanic community in the department.
Well, we advertise in a lot of formats. Everything when we do public announcements, for example, we do it both in English and in Spanish to reach out to the Spanish-speaking community. And like I said, a lot of us, I'm fortunate that I speak two languages as well. So for us, it's important that we always have the foot on the gas and trying to communicate and trying to be positive in the community. And throughout the year, we have different programs. We have Blue Santa. We have different things in each part of the community. Obviously, the community is very heavily Hispanic on the east side and the north side for us, but it's just as diverse in other parts of the city. So for us, it's about having the right kinds of people, the right-minded people, to make sure that our programs in here to attract qualified people is always at the forefront.
Exactly. And you're mentioning new officers, right?
Sure, sure. We're we're
Yeah.
we're we're always recruiting new people. We started an academy Monday,
Mhm.
and that academy is something that we're very proud of. A lot of work has been done, one by Mayor Whitmire to ensure that we're the highest paid police department in the state, that we have the right benefit packages. For the first time in the history of the Houston Police Department, the mayor's office has purchased guns. In the past, they had to buy their own guns when they came here.
Mhm.
We fixed the pensions. So a lot of positive things have happened to attract the right kinds of people into this community because it's not only the police department. As the chief, I understand that the city is great. The police department is just one component of the city. People in public works, people at the fire department are just as valuable,
Mhm.
right? Because it all has to work cohesively to make sure that we are providing a service, exceptional police services on our part. But it's important that we recognize that we're just but a piece of a broader picture of good government that makes the city function and be attractive to people visiting, be attractive to FIFA, like for example, it's coming here, be attractive to all kinds of conferences. I think recently, for the next 3 years, we'll have a giant cheerleader
Mm.
competition come, and we're very proud of it, right? Because they know that they can come here. We have just great amenities, fantastic sports teams. So it's kind of a really shining example of what city government should look like, and that's functional, being disciplined with the resources. Because, for example, the police department is probably the largest budget. So we are responsible for the treasure that the community gives us. We have to manage it appropriately, that we're not overspending, that we're being disciplined on how we use funds here, with that in mind, that every other department is as valuable
Yes, and
to the community.
talking about the budget, how are you committing to transparency to ensure that Houston residents can understand the budget, how those public safety funds are being spent?
Well, the budgets are public record, right? So we provide a yearly update to the community, to council, the mayor and council. And internally, we have auditing processes. Like I have a dashboard in my office that tracks all the overtime.
Mhm.
So I can see trends. If one particular division, special victims, for example, if one or two of the detectives or investigators in that division, their overtime is getting high,
Mhm.
then we can see it, and then we can let their administrators know, hey, how can we help this person not work so many hours? Because it's just as important that they hang out with their kids and they're at home and they don't suffer any burnout, because the job, unfortunately, we still needed probably another 600 to 700 police officers. And every investigator here is working on 60, 70, 80 cases. Are, for example, hit and runs. I mean, we have 10, 12 people managing about 34,000 hit and run investigations, and they're not always catastrophic. Somebody backed into your car in a grocery store or in your apartment or on the street. Those have to get worked as well. But when you have only so many people to do the job, we have to prioritize the most damage, the if there's injury, those kinds of things.
Yes, sir.
So it's always staffing for us, and it's not something unique to the City of Houston Police Department.
Mhm.
Austin, Dallas, San Antonio, there's always a need for more resources, but we have to work with what we have now, and we have to be as efficient as possible with the resources that we have.
Yes.
And when you say transparent, we right now we're being audited by the comptroller's office, and we welcome it because that makes us better. Because I understand that our budget is important to the community, and the community needs to know from us that this office is being very disciplined with the resources.
That's right.
So there's no waste.
Have you identified any top spending areas in the
You know,
department?
we have a lot of protests in the community.
Mhm.
So to have those protests happen safely, because we value people's opinions here at the office. So whether you're pro one thing or not pro, whether you're in conflict, your First Amendment right to communicate is very important to us. So we make sure that we have the resources there. We don't take a side. We don't pick a side on what you value or what you're arguing for. We respect that you're up here and that you are wanting to make those hard decisions, and your viewpoint and what you're saying matters to us. We just want to make sure that we keep the peace, because sometimes you'll have one party protesting and then you'll have a counter protest, and that sometimes those things get heated,
Mhm.
and we don't want something catastrophic to happen over people just being upset and not being able to communicate each other's viewpoints. They become, sometimes they insult one another, and we're just there to make sure that, hey, you're just as valuable as the next person, to make sure that things happen and people can come protest and they can go back home, but that costs money. It costs staffing, because we have about over right around 400 different protests a year in our community. So it's a challenge for us, but we meet the challenges. We have the best staff in the business. The police department has been doing it for a long time, so we kind of recognize the groups, and those groups communicate with us ahead of time, because they want to do it peacefully too, and they want to get their point across. They don't want someone else to come from the outside and be ugly and insulting, and those kinds of things happen. So that's one of the things that's always hard for us to measure, because it's hard for us to anticipate what happens in another state or in another country that affects us here in Houston. So we have to stay focused on our responsibility here in Houston.
Yes, and talking about measuring, how are these funds being measured so that you're making sure that they're reducing crime and improving public safety?
Well, we have metrics within the office. We gauge our everything is double digits. For example, our homicides down double digits for from 2025,
Hmm.
and so is our robberies and other kinds of things. So that's what we measure. So we try to be proactive in it. So if as an example, if I've got a spike in crime out of the West Side Station, so we focus resources, we move resources to that location and we tackle that resource that event, right? So we can track, we can measure, we have the metric. Yeah, there's one person that's committing car burglaries or stealing packages, and we can focus on it based on the data. So we're just not driving around, hanging around and waving at people. We're actually focused on the actual crime, and it helps us get better. And then we move that same uh, police effort to other parts of the community. I think earlier I let you know that for me, it's important that the equity in the police department and resources is shared throughout the community. So if you live on the west side or Kingwood or Clear Lake, you get the same response from the police department always because it's important to me.
That's right, sir. And talking about, the next generation of officers, I
Right,
know recently the department has made changes to the Cadet Academy.
right,
It's especially in those training for mental health calls,
right.
de-escalation, and community engagement. Can you talk to us about those
Sure.
changes?
I mean, we're probably one of the few offices in the country that gets the cadets that travel to different communities. They go on the east side. They learn a little bit about culture. They go to a Hindu temple, right? They'll go to a mosque. They go to a different uh, councils like the Mexican consulate, the French consulate. They visit with the community so they can see that there's people behind those faces, right?
Hmm.
With different ways of thinking. With they worship different things. They worship different people. And so it's important that when they come out and they're actually on the street, that if they come to your home and you worship someone else, that they're decent, right? And that they know a little bit about what you're going through and what's happening in the dynamic of your family. Because unfortunately, in this business, they rarely call us in for a cup of coffee. They call us to your home in a 911. So there's some stress there. So if you don't know, it's important that the not having some awareness of the different cultures in the community, the different languages, because in our community we speak about 80 different languages. So at the moment, that is, we don't have 80 different Spanish or language uh, officers within the office, but we do have language lines that can communicate. And eventually, we'll get to a point, hopefully in the next 3, 4, 5 years, where our body worn cameras will be able to translate immediately. So if you speak to me in Farsi or in Spanish, that I'm getting the very best information across to you because I want our team members to talk to you and not at you,
Hmm.
right? And talking louder doesn't get anything done, right? It's more of a listening, but it's important that we're communicating those kinds of things and the language is so important as well as the culture, right? So we move around and our cadets go everywhere. They're doing gift wrapped operations during the holidays. They're putting bikes together because that's what this job is about. It's about the people that we serve. And not like I said, not with our words, our hearts with our hands, right? So nothing challenges a new cadet the most than trying to go and put bicycles together for Christmas for kids that need stuff, or come to an event where there's actually you're using your hands and you're feeding the homeless population or you're feeding people that have little means, Thanksgiving meal or a Christmas meal. It's important for me that we're reflective of that. And we do have a lot of people that have different needs in the community. And when we target employees to come work for us, they have to have that it, right? So your parents have already raised you to be kind and to be nice. So you're basically a diamond in the rough. We just teach you to be a good police officer, follow the rules, and being strict and being disciplined. That's what the office does. But what you bring, the different people that you bring, or the differences that you bring into our organization, is welcomed because you're probably going to a community that you're very familiar with and that you can serve and you understand the nuances of the community because Houston's essentially 5 cities within one big one. That's how diversified we are. So it's important that we challenge ourselves, that we're not just talking about it, that we're doing something actionable, right? So if we need some, for example, some Vietnamese speakers, and we do get a lot of Vietnamese officers that come in from mostly where, which would be the West Side, the Bel Air area. So, and we get a lot of young men that come in and women that do this job, and it's so fascinating. They go right back into the communities that they grew up in.
That's right.
Right, it's good. It's good policing.
Yes, and about those language access.
Hmm.
Tell us about those services. I know there's a lot of translation. If somebody calls the department, can they expect somebody to reach out to them in their language?
100%. Yeah, I mean, pretty sure unless you speak something, a tribal dialect that's perhaps in the middle of the Amazon jungle in Brazil, or someone in Guatemala who has a different, that's not just Spanish, or you have different, for example, in Afghanistan, there's tribal languages, so that's a struggle for us. But we try our very best through our language lines, through our dispatch, where you call 911. We have the ability through that language line to get you as close as possible. And if that doesn't work, then we reach out to our partner law enforcement agencies because we all have to kind of work together. Because usually, since we're the biggest, they call us. Hey, do you have this morning? In fact, I was listening to the West Side Channel, and the trooper was on a traffic stop, and he needed someone to speak Vietnamese for him. So one of our units showed up to help him to communicate with the person that he had on the traffic stop. So that's just it's a challenge, but it's a welcome challenge because again, it's a positive thing to kind of get to meet people on the street, get to meet people
Yes.
where they live, and serve them in a positive way.
Okay. Are there incentives, for example, as well?
They do get incentives
Okay.
for the speaking dual languages and stuff like that. And again, the pay is the highest in the state at the moment, and we're
Nice.
always working on it. If you're working night shift, you're getting paid a little bit more money. So we have a lot of incentives to retain people, and we value the different shift work. We understand how tough it is.
And we're getting ready to close out, Chief. I just want you to briefly talk about those preparations for this big year, with the 2026 FIFA World Cup, if you can talk to us
Sure.
what
So
the department
I
is
mean,
doing.
we I think, of course, I'm biased, and the Houston Police Department is probably the most prepared in the entire country. But that's FIFA's told us that, so we're ready to go. We have just an incredible team here that does it uh, around the clock. We have a team that has traveled to other events to see how they do it, so that we can put on our very best performance for us because it is that. We're going to have different languages. We have different countries coming with a lot of fans, a lot of passionate fans. So we're ready. Staffing wise, we've canceled all the days off during the 30 days of FIFA. So expect everyone in the police department to be working 12-hour shifts. So we're ready. We're trained up, and it's something that we do tabletop exercises to try and work it out. And we use our partners at the sheriff's office, constables, our federal partners. It's always a communication because we have to make sure that we. Uh, it's a tough way because we have to anticipate a lot, but the sharing of information and leaving the egos at the door and coming in and wanting to put a very good show on and a good product for this incredible. I mean, it's for me, it's a big deal because the World Cup is a big deal around the world, right? And we'll be on the world stage, not just on the Que Onda magazine, right? We'll
Yes,
be
sir.
on a global stage. So for us, it's important to make sure that we're always doing positive things in the community and helping and learning and hoping to make sure that in the next time that the World Cup comes to North America, we're in the running because we've given a very good experience.
A final message to our Que Onda Magazine audience, the Latinos who are seeing this
No,
interview.
pues para mí es un honor estar aquí. Les agradezco el tiempo a Que Onda Magazine por todo el tiempo ayudarnos con la verdad y dar la información correcta. Para nosotros es un honor servir, no nomás con nuestras palabras, pero con nuestros corazones y con nuestras manos. Estamos aquí para ayudarle a la comunidad en cualquier capacidad. Estamos aquí atentos que necesitamos la comunidad que nos ayude a ser una comunidad más segura, una comunidad trabajando duro para mover la ciudad para adelante.
That's right.
Solo les agradezco el tiempo. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. This
Thank you.
has been an amazing interview with Chief
No,
Noe Diaz.
it's
Thank you.
it's my pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you. And
Thanks.
hasta luego.
Hasta pronto. Gracias.
Alongside our sit-down interview with HPD Chief Noe Diaz, we also sat down with 4 chiefs from the command staff here at HPD, learning about their stories, their careers, and their times here at HPD. Que Onda Houston, we're here today at HPD with Executive Assistant Cephas. Thank you for joining us today, sir. Can you tell us what Executive Assistant means and what you do at HPD?
Well, thank you for coming by. Yes,
course.
Executive Assistant Chief is one of our executive levels with the Houston Police Department. Currently, my role is over investigative operations, so I have all the investigations within the city of Houston, you know, divisions that include homicide, vice, narcotics, robbery, different divisions like those that you commonly see or that get like a lot of traction around the city that with certain crimes that occur.
Okay, and how long have you been in that role here at HPD?
For 2 years now, I've been over that in that specific division or command over those divisions.
And how long have you been at HPD in general?
For me, it's been 20 years that I've been working with the Houston Police Department now.
What has been your favorite part of working here?
Favorite part, the people.
The people?
You know, the people and how I'm able to help people in the community. So we have a wonderful team of officers, men and women with the Houston Police Department. And then just helping the citizens, being able to affect someone's life, help them when they're in their worst time of need. That's the biggest thing, biggest part for me where I get my fulfillment from with doing this job.
Okay, very nice. Thank you. For any young boys who are like maybe looking to join HP or go into law enforcement, what advice would you give them?
Young boys, young females, anybody,
anybody,
I think would be a great addition to the Houston Police Department. Just, you know, continue to take care of yourself, your well-being, healthiness for one, because we need people that are in shape, and then mentally make sure that you're able to learn and do good in school. Don't get yourself in any trouble. Make sure you have a nice, clear background. That way you're able to get on with the police department and help us out. And we like people from the community within this city, with every community within this city. We like people to join and help us out with helping fight crime and keep everybody safe.
Awesome. Officer Cephas, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Have a good one.
You too. Que Onda Houston, we're here with Executive Assistant Chief Anderson. Thank you for joining us this morning, or this afternoon now. How long have you been here at HPD, and what is your title today here?
My name, as you said, is Jessica Anderson. I'm an Executive Assistant Chief. I've been with HPD for 25 years.
Oh, and what do you do here today?
I'm currently over the strategic operations of HPD. So there's patrol, and there's investigations, and there's everything else. And so I have the everything else side of the house. So that includes Homeland Security, organizational support, professional development, all those sorts of things.
Okay. And how long have you been in that position here?
A year and some change.
Okay.
Yep.
And how have you been enjoying the position?
It's been great. I feel really fortunate to have an opportunity to be impacting both the department and the community from this spot. We've made a lot of small changes and other large ones, but I think all of them are moving the department and the community in the right direction, which is really exciting.
That's awesome. And what has been your favorite part of being at HPD?
Oh
Having a career
boy,
here?
that's a great question. I've done a lot of really, really interesting things. I think what I enjoyed the most was being the lieutenant over the human trafficking unit. That was some years ago, but it allowed me to really interact with the community, and then do, you know, some tactical stuff along with long-term investigations. It felt very rewarding, and I really enjoyed my time there.
Awesome. And as one final question here, for any young girls who may want to enter law enforcement who don't feel comfortable entering such a male-dominated space, what advice would you give them?
That's a great question. I think my best advice would be just to do it. Don't be afraid. It's a very welcoming environment and a welcoming organization. And so while it may appear on the news or TV or movies as to be male dominated, there's a lot of women doing a lot of great things in the department, and there's so many opportunities to do all sorts of things. As I said, I was over the human trafficking unit for a while, but I also did hostage negotiation. I spent some time on the street. the department has allowed me to advance my education as well. So there's so many opportunities that don't feel like the only thing that you'll be doing is running and gunning in a patrol car. There's a lot to do. And so if the fear is you don't want to, be on night shift in a patrol car, that could just be for a little while, because there's so many other things that this department offers. And there's a lot of other folks that will be cheering you on and helping you get where you need to go. So I think my advice would be just do it.
Awesome. And thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Edward.
Thank you so much. Hasta luego, Houston. Que Onda, Houston. We're sitting here with Executive Assistant Chief Guzman here at HPD. Thank you for joining us this morning, Chief. Can you tell us what you do here at HPD?
So I'm the Executive Assistant Chief over Field Operations, which basically means all the patrol stations, they're under my command. I also have smaller units, which is the citywide DRT and the community engagement unit. But the bigger ones is the patrol stations. That's the operations that I'm over.
Okay, how long have you been in that position here at HPD?
I've been in that position slightly over a year. Actually, November made a year. So just over a year over that command.
No, how long have you been here at HPD?
With the Houston Police Department, It's been slightly over 25 years, coming up on the 26th year. So yes, it's been a little bit.
How long? What have you enjoyed most about being here at HPD?
25 years is quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
And through every phase of my career, being an officer, being a sergeant, going up the ranks, I've enjoyed every position. The one thing I can tell you, and probably a lot of people will tell you, it's just the people that you work with. I've been able to meet, obviously in my early career, older people that were in the police department. And as I've gone through, now I'm the older one, so I get to meet a lot of the younger officers. Yeah. So, but it's the people overall.
Okay. You talked to say about how we're kind of growing into it for future officers, for young kids who want to go into law enforcement. What advice would you give them?
So just, I always wanted to be a police officer. And I didn't know what to do except make sure you stay out of trouble, try to do the right thing. If the advice I could give them is this is a calling. It is something that you want to do. Keep doing, being the best you can, improve yourself. We always want police officers. We will always need police officers, but just making sure that you're doing it for the right reasons, do everything. I know we always want to help people. It's really a calling. Any advice, just you can seek out. We have programs where we can help you down that path. Some people might think this is something they want to do and change their mind, and it's better to figure that out early on. But if it's truly a calling and like I knew, I put all my eggs in one basket. I knew this is what I wanted to do, and I know there's several other people that feel the same way, and it's truly been an honor. I've enjoyed every moment of it, just giving back. So any advice for people that want to do it, I hope they just keep that fire in them of them wanting to do it. We will be more than happy to help them to get to that point, that journey in their life, to be hopefully somebody sitting in my position. Somebody will be sitting in my position someday. It won't be me forever. So.
Sure. Awesome. Do you have any other comments you'd like to add about being at HPD?
No, like I said, it's been a great career. I'm still looking forward to it many more years. We have officers in all different stages of their careers that do wonderful work. They do great work. The younger officers, they do amazing work. We have investigators. We have patrol officers, which is usually what the community sees. They're the ones that always literally are going towards danger. So I appreciate what they do. I hope the citizens appreciate what they do. We don't often hear about all the great work they do every day. But every day there's officers out there that are doing amazing work that probably doesn't get recognized like it should be. But so I want to thank the officers. I want to thank the citizens that support us. And it's an honor to serve in this role for the city of Houston.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time and for your service. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Thank you.
Hasta luego, Houston. Que Onda, Houston. We're sitting here with Assistant Chief Adrian Rodriguez. Sir, can you tell us what you do here at HPD?
So I'm an assistant chief with the Houston Police Department's Patrol Region 2 Command, which consists of South Central, Southeast, East Side, Clear Lake, Downtown, and the Traffic Enforcement Division. We are out in the field. We're running calls for service, responding to people in need, emergency situations, our patrol officers are the first ones to respond to these scenes. Myself, I have been with the Houston Police Department for over 22 years, and I come from a family of law enforcement. So
Oh,
my
wow.
father was a retired sergeant, my mother was a retired senior officer, and my brother is currently a sergeant with the Houston Police Department, actually in this building as well. So, when I say HPD is my family, I mean it literally.
I mean, literally,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And HPD has been so, so good to me. So I really appreciate this organization and what it does. Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So you say your family come from, family of HPD. So would there have been any judgment if you're like, I want to go to college, I want to go be an engineer, a doctor? Would there have been any judgment
It
from
was,
the family?
I don't, there would never be any judgment with my parents. I was raised with a good family. I come from a family that is first generation over here in the United States. My dad worked hard to accomplish his career goals. And my mom, through his, him talking about this organization, she was convinced to join the Houston Police Department. And, me and my brother seeing my dad in his role with the organization and all the opportunities that it gave him really, caught our interest. And it's the reason why we joined ourselves. This organization, paid us back for our college that we took, reimbursed us after we graduated and made the grades. It's got me the contacts that I have now, like lifelong friends from the very beginning of my career to where I am now. I've never imagined that I'd be in the position that I am now, but hard work pays off, and with the networking and the people that you get to know, your name and good reputation gets around the Houston area. So it's been a blessing for sure.
That's awesome. And I know you kind of mentioned there about like culture. I know recently you were the president, I believe, of the Hispanic Officer of the Year Association.
So I was the previous vice president
Vice
and
president.
president of OI for a short period, for approximately a year. And then I was the co-chair, which is the vice president of OI, which is the Hispanic Officer of the Year Award Committee that we have within the Houston Police Department. But I am also part of OSO, which is the Organization of Spanish-Speaking Officers.
Wow.
It's another union that we have within the Houston Police Department. And also outside of the Houston Police Department, I am also a part of LULAC. I was a previous sergeant at arms with LULAC Council 60. And I'm also a part of NHPO, which is the National Hispanic Professional Organization. So, I'm always networking. I'm a graduate of Leadership Houston, which is something that connects you to many, many people in the Houston area. And you get to know a lot about the ins and outs of the Houston community, the history of it, how things came about, how things are run within the Houston area. And it's been a blessing to get to know different people and people's stories because we get around. We're at town hall meetings, we're in public forums many, many times, and they ask us to speak, but we never get that personal one-on-one connection with individuals, and that's what we strive to do here. At least my goal is to get to know people on a one-on-one basis because that's how you build trust, that's how you build the community, and you make friends in the process, and it's a win-win for everybody. So.
Yeah. You talked there about like building community and trust. How important is being a part of these organizations to doing that, especially with the Hispanic community?
So it's extremely important because these organizations are Hispanic organizations within the community. I grew up in the East End. So some of these people I've known for a very long time, and they're in positions to where they're helping out the Houstonians in their field. Whether it be, they're lawyers around here or they're, working for school districts, whatever the case may be, these people are connected with us with these organizations. And because of my close ties with a lot of community members, we're able to network and figure things out as a group. So it's not like just me thinking about things. It's a whole bunch of people putting their minds together to say, how can we help this situation? Or how can we help this group of people or this community at whatever location in Houston? For example, when I was Leadership Houston, our team, our cohort, we went to Navarro Middle School, which used to be Jackson Middle School, and they have a food pantry in there. So with that organization and that group, that class, we got together and rebuilt their food pantry to where it's a more presentable, a more honorable way for the underserved community to feel dignified in getting services that they need, like milk, vegetables, fruits, and stuff from that food pantry. And it feels like it's a grocery store, and they don't feel so like it's just a gloomy place to come shop at. It's that actual experience of a shopping center.
Yeah, they get that experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And we couldn't have done it without our team coming together and the networking that we have within that, and that's outside of HPD. But HPD always connects with these different organizations. They'll email us and ask, hey, how can HPD help? And we're always putting our minds together on different venues and how can we connect with a certain community, because every community has different needs. But we try, myself and the different networking organizations, we try to go to these communities, these apartment complexes, and be present. And when we're present with these communities, we automatically develop some kind of relationship with people just by interacting and talking to them. Speaking the native language, just by default, they feel more comfortable because you're speaking a common language.
Yeah,
so absolutely. I do speak Spanish. I'm bilingual. And whenever I speak to the communities in their native language, you can automatically see the comfort level just like increase drastically. They're like, this guy speaks Spanish too. It's amazing that, we have one of our own in an organization that is out here protecting us.
Yeah.
And they see us in a different light, because a lot of times, when we respond to scenes, it's something tragic or they're in need of something. So we try to counter that with the positive experiences. And that's why we set up so many events within the community, because we want them to see us outside of a scene that we're having to go to. And when we do that, automatically that trust and relationship is built. And that's how you do it. You just keep hustling. You keep getting out there, going to these different events and meeting so many people. So that's what we're doing.
That's awesome, man.
Mhm.
You do so much here.
Yeah.
Speaking to like the future of HPD, to any like young boys or young girls who want to become a cop or maybe thinking about it, like what advice would you give young kids who want to enter law enforcement?
So we have several avenues where they can get involved. We have Explorer programs within the high schools. We have ride-alongs that they can experience a ride-along with a patrol officer if they're of age 16 or up, 18 by themselves, 16 or up with their parents. But visit the stations. They can interact with officers that way. When we have recruiting events, make sure that they're going to these events and getting to know these officers and interacting with them to get involved in the things that the Houston Police Department does, because we are 24/7. We're everywhere,
Yeah.
And I know they have like hours of where they go to school and all that, but I would suggest if they're interested to look at our website, hpdcareers.com, and see what the requirements are for them, and make sure that they get they satisfy those requirements with their physical agility as well, and make sure that they get in shape prior to. And it just research, make sure that this is something that is a desire in your heart to do, because this is God's work. We have
Sure.
servant leadership hearts, and it's a tough job. Not many times will you get thank you for your services. There are people out there that do thank you, but it's far and in between, because they go about their lives too. But we have a job to do, and you have to have a heart for this service, for the service of people and Houstonians to be in this field. And to me, it's been a huge blessing. They have that saying, it's better to give than receive, and it's very true. This past toy drive that we had for the Christmas at these apartment complexes, me seeing the faces of these kids, that's all it took for me to continue to drive and say, I'm going to do more, because these kids are so innocent. They unfortunately live in an environment to where they don't have everything that other kids have. So for us to be able to provide that blessing to them and see their faces light up, it means the world to all of us, all the officers involved in these events. So to answer your question, ultimately is be involved, get yourself involved somehow, some way, research events that the HPD is going to be at, and be there, be present. Get to know the officers, ask questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Officer Rodriguez. Is there anything we didn't cover? You do so much here at HPD. Did we cover everything?
I'm just, I'm grateful that Que Onda Magazine is out here interviewing us to get the perspective from this side, because it's not very common that this happens. So I appreciate Que Onda and your team. Every time I go to events, I see y'all. You guys are out and about, and I appreciate you pushing out the message about how great the Houston Police Department is, and we are a friend, and we're here to build these relationships for a lifetime. So we appreciate y'all and thank y'all as well. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you
for
very
your
much.
time.
Thank you.
Hasta luego, Houston.
Que Onda Magazine presentó.